parent, working class family.
There we go. Probably help if I fucking unmuted my mic. Hello, it is me, Ambassador Michael. So, we're gonna do things a little bit differently today because I want to cover the news, but there's just too much shit. Basically, there's just too much shit. So, yeah, we're gonna cover the news. We're gonna go through everything that's going on this week. We hadn't really planned on it, so this is kind of impromptu. Things are a little wonky, but we're gonna get through it, and hopefully we will have fun while we do so. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan, and we'll just get right into it. As you can, you can't see. I'm smart, and I cropped out the fucking thing, the tab bar. But anyways, the point is that there's a good amount of stories here, roughly about 20, and some of them are pretty repetitive in regards to the thing. Yeah, that one big announcement. You'll know what I'm talking about. So we got a lot of stuff to cover on the Xbox front, so we'll get to that. And we're going to start here with smaller stuff, work our way to that, because that's going to be the meat and potatoes of this episode. Anyways, yeah. So if you don't play Gothic's playable teaser, THQ Nordic doesn't want to make it. So that's interesting. So let's see here. They said this is not a full game. It is a playable teaser version to a potential approach for a new Gothic game. Nothing is set in stone. So your feedback is essential to turn it into a modern game. Therefore, and to reward your loyalty, Gothic playable teaser is totally free. Who already have any titles in the Gothic saga or developed by product or any, I'm assuming that, any titles developed by, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, so apparently a lot of people aren't pleased with that. I don't know anything about Gothic, or I know tons about THQ Nordic, but I don't know anything about this game. Never heard anything about it. This is the first time hearing about it. But if you want it made, yeah, you gotta go play it, I guess, and tell them why you think it's crap or why you think it's good. So this one is kind of redundant. We pretty much, within days of PT being out, knew that Norman would have been the main character of PT, and that he was pretty much the protagonist the whole time. We assume, I would have assumed that everybody understood that the model would have been him, since they did all the time to put him in the teaser. Like, you might as well have just put him in the game. But we apparently didn't know that. Yeah, see, we always presumed, yeah. But yeah, so Lance McDonald has done a lot of work here on the camera for PT, and he does a lot of really good work. So fucking real quick, we'll just look at it so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's been doing a lot of screwy stuff, but see, you can see there that it's Norman Reedus. It's pretty obvious. He's even in that same getup that he was. Bruh. This whole time, I forgot to hit the fucking streaming button. Why am I like this? Anyways, I gotta redo all this shit because nobody even knew it was there. So I'm sorry, but also, hello. Again. Actually, for the first time for you guys. Twice for me. So, anyways, we're gonna redo this because I completely fucked it up. As you can tell, streaming is not my strong suit. This is the first PC I've even owned that's capable of doing so, at least in a way that I would use for ambassadors. So, yeah, sorry for the hiccups, but say la vie and all that. So, anyways, let's try this again. Good news is I know more about shit than I knew before I started, so I'm not going to sound as rambly and dumb. So THQ Nordic won't make the new Gothic game if you don't try it out and you don't tell them what you think about it. So they're apparently having difficulties on determining if they want to make this new game, and they want to determine, if the direction they started in is worthwhile. And so they put the game up, and it's only downloadable for those who already have a Gothic game, or for those who own any other title developed by Piranha Bytes on their Steam libraries. Even though Piranha Byte isn't involved. Apparently this is a remake, so I don't know. So THQ Nordic said this is not a full game. It's a playable teaser version to a potential approach for a new Gothic game. Nothing is set in stone. So your feedback is essential to turn Gothic into a modern game. Therefore, and to reward your loyalty, Gothic Playable Teaser is totally free for all fans who already have any of the titles in the Gothic saga or any title developed by Piranha Bytes. So it's there if you want it on Steam, I guess. I don't know anything about this game. Again, I'm not a PC guy, so I don't really know anything about PC games, typically speaking. So it's kind of lost all on me. But if this is something you're into and you want to see more of it, go play it, I guess. Tell them what you think of it. I thought it was important to cover because it was just a weird story. Even though typically we try to avoid PC stuff because I'm just so foreign on all of it that I don't know what I'm doing or talking about half the time. So anyways, we can move on to our next story. So there's been a couple of people who screw around with the cameras in PT, mostly McDonald. His first name is Lance McDonald. And so they've been working to trying to kind of get things situated and, figure out what's going on with it, because PT is just a really weird developed game. So we've been seeing things come out of it for a long time with modders and so on and so forth. So anyways, he is back with a new video if you haven't seen it yet. The short version is he confirmed basically that Norman Reedus is the character model the whole time in the game. We kind of all presumed this, but nobody really knew for sure. But he found a way to screw with the camera angle in such a way that like you can see the protagonist through the mirror. As you can see, it's that character model Norman Reedus that we kind of got a teaser for. Oh, good. It's not just me. It just keeps killing the stream. Great. Cool. It keeps killing the stream. I don't know why it keeps killing the stream. I gotta look. It's gotta be something in my hotkeys or something. This is gonna drive me fucking crazy. Hold on. No, there's no reason. Why? Why do you keep ending the stream? Whatever. I'm just not going to touch anything on the fucking keyboard. And then maybe we just won't have this problem. Sound good? Good. Don't touch anything on the keyboard. Fuck's sake. I don't even know where the stream stopped, but the short version is we cover a little bit of PT. There's a new camera trick. It shows Norman Reedus. If you didn't catch that, sorry, I guess. I'm not doing great on this technical side of the stream, so whoops. Anyways, let's talk about Persona 5 because I love Persona 5 and everything about it. So Persona 5 Strikers is possibly the Western title for Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, which is the title from Atlas, working on that Musou-like Persona 5 game that's supposedly a sequel. So it was also announced in Nintendo's English versions of their earning calls as a title upcoming for the Switch. So it's coming out on PlayStation as well. But we haven't had any official announcement. So I'm pretty excited because I just want to know what's going on with that. I like Persona 5 a lot. I like that world a lot. I like those characters a lot. And I could use more Persona 5 in my life. I also could use some fucking Persona 5 on Switch. Make it happen, Atlas. I don't know why you're dragging your feet for. People want it. Make it happen. You're re-releasing it. It's not even that hard because it ran on the PS3. If you can get it to run on the PS3, you can get it to run on Switch. Just saying. If I have to buy it again, I will. I'll buy it on PlayStation. Then I'll buy it again on Switch because I be like that. So, yeah, I just kind of want to get them to get that sorted. I'm really looking forward to Persona 5R. I really enjoyed it. It's really great. And I really think it'll give people a chance to try it out again because it's super long. Yeah. So this is the outrage of the week, right? Of course, Activision is going to find some way to do something stupid, monetization wise, that's going to piss everybody off. So, short version is they have this new bundle, and it costs 2,000 COD points, so $20. And it includes a bunch of new features, which kind of changed the way people, go through the game. So here you can see some things here. Let's fucking open this in a new tab so we can kind of get a better look at it. So you get guns, because of course you do. I think these are guns. They might be skins, but they don't look like skins. They look like guns. So I'm going to take a wild guess that they're guns. That looks like a melee attack, and then yeah. So there's just a bunch of like little stuff, and then these two guns, an operator skin, and then this is the thing people care about is this watch, because in the new COD, from what I've heard, is they removed the KD from like the in-game menus, and they did it because people were complaining that, or people get shit on if they're doing bad. Like their teammates are like, "Oh, you suck, you're a scrub," blah 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 blah. The same old shit that you're used to dealing with in Call of Duty. So basically, they removed that because people were bullying each other and blah blah blah. Same stuff's going on for 10 plus years. So they put this in this bundle for some reason instead of just making it a thing for everybody, and it shows your KD, just your KD, no one else's. It's not it, and it's not the ratio. It's literally just your kills and just your death, which is so weird to me. Like, it just seems like you could very obviously tell that this would piss people off and just be like, okay, let's not do that and let's just give it away. Like, let's just put it in as an update. You could still sell everything in here. So you could have just made another logo or a sticker or some bullshit, threw that in there and called it a fucking day. But no, you got to put something in there. It's going to piss people off. Like, why would you do that other than to get press? Like, and obviously try to, like, make extra money on it. That's pretty much the only two reasons, is to make money and to, like, piss people off. So, I don't really see a purpose or a point to all that. They should have just made it free and an update. It's an in-game item that was part of a feature that was already part of the game that they took out and then they put back in. So, I don't know. I would have just put it back in, called it a day. But the fuck do I know? So Baldur's Gate is getting a new game. So some of the stuff here is going to be split up between Game Awards and State of Play, and there's a bunch of stuff that happened last week and over the weekend. So sorting through it all is a huge pain in the ass. So we're just gonna go through story by story and just kind of deal with it as it is, instead of all of it being rounded up. I think I have the State of Play stuff rounded up, but whatever. So a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is coming out next year. Wizards of the Coast announced at the Game Awards. Is it just called Dark Alliance? Like the original game, Dark Alliance will have couch co-op and focus on cutting down orcs, wolves, baddies, blah 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 blah. So I've played a bit of Baldur's Gate. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. But the last time I played it was on PS2. So I'm kind of interested to see. Yeah, there's nothing in here. So I'm curious to see kind of how it plays. It looks cool. I'll probably end up checking it out a little bit. I don't know, if you're into like Dungeons and Dragons kind of shit, it's as close as you're gonna get to a D&D like game on console. Like, I like the MMO. It's okay. It's pretty representative of D&D, but I just don't think it's. I mean, you're never gonna be able to translate that without putting in a massive amount of work. They could probably do it, but honestly, it probably wouldn't be worth their while unless people wanted to ditch classic sit-down D&D. But again, I can't imagine them wanting to do that for any reason. So that's the best you're gonna get. But it reminds me a lot of Gauntlet, so that's why I kind of like those games, because I like Gauntlet a lot. So, let's move on. Mortal Kombat 11 is getting crossplay. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the story. There's this whole article here, but I'm just going to cut the fat and just tell you it's just crossplay. So, we'll be testing out a crossplay feature for PS4 and Xbox One as part of the latest patch. Keep in mind this is currently in beta, so bear with us as we continue to work on it. Another rum sold. So, there's some more information here. If you're into crossplay and all of that, and you're into Mortal Kombat, this is good for you. Obviously, it doesn't seem like there's getting crossplay between Switch and PC, so it seems to just be Xbox and PS4, which is probably fine. I'm gonna take a wild guess that it's probably not a good idea to put PC console players together on a fighting game like this because of input and the controller schemes and all that. So be very interested to see kind of how this works out for them. Hopefully well. I'm always a big fan of crossplay, so pretty much anything with crossplay in it is a win for us, and that's just kind of how I view it. I like crossplay a lot. I don't see any reason why every game isn't crossplay, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I don't think there's anything particularly interesting about this game, Godfall, other than the fact that it's the first official PS5 game. We know that the PS4 titles that are currently announced that are coming up, like The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, are going to be playable on PS5 because it's backwards compatible, or at least they're trying to get it to be backwards compatible, which is the most absurd statement I've heard about next gen. Like, we're trying to get it backwards compatible. You're trying. What the fuck? Xbox already has backwards compatibility with 2 gens ago on their current gen, and they already said before they even announced the new one that it was going to be backwards compatible. And Sony's over here like playing with their thumbs, like, maybe if we get to it, but who knows? Who gives a shit? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, so yeah, Godfall is considered a looter slasher. It's a fucking weird name. I don't like all this weird like genre bending stuff. Like, I don't see why you need to do all that. If that's the most accurate way to describe the game, sure, I guess. But there's been like looter slasher. Oh, you can't see my sarcastic quote. Looter slashers like Baldur's Gate and like D&D, and like those are just called RPGs. Like, I don't know, whatever. So anyways, Godfall is out late 2020. If you haven't seen the trailer, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks cool, but it's not like, oh my god, like, what a crazy fucking thing. Like, I don't know, it doesn't blow me away. It just looks pretty good. So, I mean, the frame rates and stuff are nice. It looks nice. It's probably going to be cool to play, but I really don't want to pay like $70 for something that like looks okay at best to play. Like, it's pretty. There's ripples in water. Like, everything looks really nice, but like, we learned this from the Order 1886, bro. Like, just because it looks nice doesn't mean it's a good game. So, I don't know. I'm just gonna like keep an eye on it, I guess. I'd be more inclined if this was like free to play. I don't know. I think Destiny made the right call with it being free to play, and just because a lot of these games need constant updates, and so they need like more heavily microtransaction induced stuff. And I'm fine with that in free to play games, but it's hard when you want to do that and then also sell me expansions all the time. So, I don't know. So anyways, this is a holiday game, so I don't know what the fuck that means. I assume it means like, I hope it's a launch title, honestly, because they could use a title like that at launch. So, I don't know. We'll see more. I'm interested in watching it, but I'm not like hype level max. Like, cool. It's a game. It's coming on PS5. It looks pretty, but show me gameplay, or, just deal with it. Oh, God. So, this is a funny story, but I hate these photos. Smiling Kratos is super fucking disturbing. But anyways, PlayStation players still like to use their consoles the most to jerk off. So, typically we avoid stories like this because they're a little more crude than what we typically do. But Chris isn't here to fucking tell me not to. So here it is. Y'all are fucking dirty. PlayStation players are jerking off on your fucking PlayStation all the time. The fuck, man? Like, I mean, maybe I get it if you're like hooked up to your TV. Like, I think the reason why this is probably the highest is because of PSVR. If I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, I'm pretty sure that's why it's so high. Let's see. PlayStation saw a slight decrease of 5% year on year, but it's still the king of adult entertainment, representing 51.5% of console traffic. So like, it went down. For some reason, Vita jerking off went up. If you're jerking off on Vita, you just use your phone, damn it. Like at this point, just use your phone. What the fuck? I don't know what to tell you. This one is just the worst. What? Why? Why are people using their Wii U to jerk off? Why are you doing that? Now I'm genuinely curious. Why are you watching porn on a Wii U? I don't think you should be watching porn on a console, period, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's not something I would want to risk the security of. Like, what if you just get a fucking bug and just breaks your system because you're jerking off? You could just, like, use your phone or some shit. Like, come on, bro. Be smart with your wanking, all right? Like, don't use your console to wank. I mean, you could do whatever the fuck you want, but I would not recommend it. Like, 0 out of 10 would not recommend. So this is a story of one of those fucking nonsense stories. So basically, yeah, here's this thing that leaked. LOL, just kidding, no. So there were some files in the latest Fortnite patch. People thought that they might be getting a new annual pass, which, if you know anything about Fortnite, it does these seasonal passes. In the past, you would roughly be doing 6 a year, roughly something like that, and they cost $10. So basically, you're paying about $60 a year for the battle pass, which is about the price of a normal game. So honestly, I felt it was a pretty fair price. But anyways, they found this like annual pass, so you would get specific skins for buying the annual pass in addition to getting all of the passes throughout the year. So it's not a bad idea. Probably be easier so people don't forget to fucking buy the pass or whatever. And in Epic's case, it'd be like, okay, we get money more up front and we get the sunk cost fallacy, and people are like, oh, well, I already paid for this, so I might as well play, blah, 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 blah. You know, all the same usual marketing tricks I think apply here. Again, I don't really see a reason not to do it other than the fact that, like, okay, there's these exclusive skins locked to this pass, which I think kind of makes it more valuable and kind of even more of a reason to people to buy it, because that's the only reason people buy the passes anyways, is to do shit in Fortnite and get collectibles like skins and cosmetics and stuff. It's the same reason why people play Call of Duty after they've earned all the guns. So I don't know. Epic said they're not going to do it. Epic says a lot of shit though when it comes to Fortnite, like, oh, we're not going to do this, oh, we're going to do that, and then it just doesn't happen. They said they were going to make all of Fortnite free to play, and then they just haven't, because they're just making too much money off of the Save the World, basically. So they're like, why would we make this free when we're making money? Which, don't get me wrong, is a valid statement. But at the same point, you shouldn't have said, oh, we're going to make it free if you're not really going to make it free. So, but yeah, they also plan on bringing these fucking things out. It's a skin that leaked a long time ago that people have been clamoring for. So if you're not into Fortnite, who gives a shit? I like Fortnite and I play with, Adam and some of my other friends, and I still don't really give a fuck. So maybe if I was like in high school or middle school and like all my friends were playing it again, like it was like a Call of Duty situation, maybe I'd be into it, but I just don't really care that much. So anyways, so Half-Life Alyx, that's the new Half-Life game coming to VR. Is it going to come to PSVR? I'm going to take a wild guess before I even read this and say probably not. I haven't read any of these articles, by the way, so I'm going in this totally blind, other than what I have read occasionally. So here's pretty much what they have to say. Designer Greg Coomer reconfirms that the initial release of Half-Life Alyx will be available for Steam VR only. Definitely sounds like Valve is aware of the desire to see the game come to PlayStation VR. However, quote, we believe Sony's VR platform has a huge success for the medium, and we assume that lots of Sony customers would love to experience this new chapter of Half-Life, end quote. And he goes on to confirm the port is not in active development because we're very focused on the initial release. Having said that, he concludes that Valve has not ruled it out. So a non-answer. Is it coming to PSVR? Maybe. I mean, if it does, it's going to be coming way later. And if it does, whatever. I don't know. I think that there's no reason not to put it on there because with VR, it's so niche. So few people actually own the damn thing that, like, you might as well. PlayStation VR is the best-selling VR unit because it's most accessible and cheapest. But that might not be true after Quest has come out because Quest runs independently, I think. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's fine. I don't really like Half-Life all that much. I know that's like a controversial thing, but I can't play it on PS4 and Xbox One because it's not backwards compatible as far as I'm aware. It's not on any of PlayStation Now or Xbox's backwards compatibility stuff, and I'm not going to go out and buy an old system and play it. So, sorry. Anyways, moving on. So, Donkey Kong 64 had a real shotgun, apparently. And this made Shigeru Miyamoto terrified. I just love this story because it's so ridiculous, and I just love this picture of fucking Donkey Kong with a shotgun. It's amazing. So Donkey Kong 64 stood out from the rest of the banana-obsessed Donkey Kong bunch. The DK rap is, of course, memorable and memeable. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the part where we talk about Miyamoto, because that's all I really care about. Let's see. Miyamoto. Who is this quote from? It wasn't a textured gun that you might expect, but a realistic shotgun with bullets flying out and with horrifying sound effects. You get so used to these things being in development, even if it's a placeholder, and I completely forgot that it was in there. I'm shooting beavers, turn to my side, and see this look of horror on Miyamoto's face. Upon seeing this, Miyamoto admitted an outright streak and called for the game to be canceled immediately. Oh, he did not. Sorry, he did not admit a streak and cancel it immediately. Instead, he began to draw on a piece of paper in that moment and produced the coconut gun. Had leaves on it and handed it to me. I looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, that's cool. We'll put that in." And the coconut gun was put in the game. So, I'm interested to see if this video covers. I don't want all this Spanish stuff right now. I'm sorry. It might be Portuguese, but whatever. I feel like I got clickbaited. Did I get clickbaited? Because I definitely saw a gun. Like, am I tripping? What happened? It's got to be here somewhere, right? No. True story, this is one of the first games I remember playing on a console before I had one, I think. I could be wrong. I think I had a console before this, but it's one of the first games I remember playing. Because I played a lot of games, fam, in my life. Like, the first game I ever remember playing was Pokemon Blue. So, anyways, Miyamoto doesn't like real guns in games. It makes him scared. I thought that was really funny. Especially just imagining Donkey Kong with a real shotgun is just ridiculous. So, but anyways, so this is all the stuff from the state of play. Kevin's not here, so he can't get triggered at Kingdom Hearts 3 and its DLC. We're all pretty pissed off about it. I think the community is pretty pissed off about it in general. It definitely feels like they shat the game out, and then we're just like, here you go, here's the rest of it a year later for $20. Like, come on, man. People waited so long. I was in the 6th grade when I remember playing Kingdom Hearts. Like, come on, dude. Like, I am a 25-year-old adult now. I fucking waited and paid my dues for Kingdom Hearts 3, all right? And then you fucking put it out there half-ass, and you're going to release this DLC a year later? Nah, fam. Nah. Not about that life at all. It's not okay. But anyways, there's good stuff, so let's talk about the good stuff instead of me just bitching about Kingdom Hearts forever. Resident Evil 3 Remake is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on April 3rd, 2020, and it includes Project Resistance, which is an incredibly good surprise because I was really expecting to buy both of these next year. But instead, Capcom was smart, and they're like, actually, we could just bundle these together for $60. And I think that's probably the right call. Project Resistance looks okay at best. But it also gives Resident Evil 3 Remake some life outside of it being just a game you pick up and you put down and then it's $20 in 6 months, just like Resident Evil 2. I love Resident Evil 2. It's one of the best games this year. But also, like, it's $20 now. So, like, Capcom's not making as much money on it. Whereas they put this in there, they could keep it higher a little bit longer, I think, for the multiplayer components. So, I definitely think that will help out. So, but we'll see. I'm very excited for that. I think everybody's pretty excited for that. Resident Evil 2 proved that they can make a remake and it be really good. So we'll just have to see where they go from there. Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC, we just talked about that. It's coming January 23rd. Fuck Square Enix. Untitled Goose Game is coming out on PlayStation 4 on December 17th. I also think it's coming out on Xbox Game Pass. Saw that on Facebook and on Twitter somewhere. So take that with a huge grain of fucking salt. But I'm pretty sure it's coming to Game Pass, which, again, Game Pass is just the gift that keeps on giving. It's the reason why PlayStation Now is getting blown out of the water. Like, it's ridiculous, like the level of quality between PlayStation Now and Game Pass. And then, I don't know if this is true or not, so again, take this with a grain of salt. It was like something I saw through comic book, I think. And some of their stuff is iffy. But apparently PlayStation has no plans on, like, day one launching stuff on PlayStation Now, or even, like, guaranteeing that the exclusives will eventually hit PlayStation Now, which in my mind makes it not nearly as good. Plus, they can't be bothered to actually get decent games on it. Like, they get games on it. Some of them are really good. Like, Persona 5's on there finally. But, like, all the games are super old. Like, don't get me wrong, they're cool, but they're super old. Whereas, like, Xbox Game Pass is getting new indie titles all the time. Like, all the time. And at least, like, with PlayStation, if they were like, oh, PlayStation Now is getting some indies, or, like, you're getting it in PlayStation Plus. But no, like, PlayStation Now's library is pretty mediocre. It was twice as expensive as Game Pass. Now it's the same price, but before it was twice as expensive. You still can't download backwards compatible games because the PS3 is a fucking nightmare. And then they just don't have good indies. Like, the indies are what make or break you in between like AAA titles for hardcore people. Like, I know for the casual consumer it doesn't really matter, but, like, I've been playing way more on Xbox because there's way more indie titles there. Like, there's way more stuff for me to play in between major releases. So, I don't know. And I was like a hardcore PlayStation guy at the beginning of the generation. I only ended up buying an Xbox to, like, get Halo and shit. Like, to play Gears and Halo. Those are the only reasons I bought an Xbox. So, I don't know. Dreams will officially be available on February 14th, 2020. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that game is flopped and fucked. Because, like, they were like, oh, we have a limited number of, like, early access titles, keys, basically. And they didn't go through them. Like, you can still buy the game. So, like, I don't understand what they're doing with this. And February is the worst time to put it out because everything is coming out at the end of February and March. Like, why is this coming out February 14th? It's a bad time. Not only is it a bad time, it's a mediocre game at best because it's just a game engine. Like, if it was, like, the creation tools are cool, but, like, you have to sift through so much bad stuff to get to stuff that's good. Like, I've spent probably 6 to 8 hours on Dreams, and for every, like, one game that I find is decent that takes me, like, 20-30 minutes, I have to sift through, like, 45 minutes of bullshit of just, like, really bad, like, thrown together crap. So I don't know. Like, I get that, like, Sony has to make some money off of this, but at the end of the day, like, maybe Dreams should have just been an internal project. Like, here's this game engine that we spent a lot of fucking time on, and instead of being like, oh, we're gonna scrap it, or we're gonna just, like, push it out as, like, this half-ass game, it's not really a game. Like, it's just a set of creation tools, which, again, is fine, but, like, it was $40, I think, and this is the full retail release. So they were talking about it as if the retail release was going to be more expensive, like you were getting a good deal if you got early access. So again, I just don't really understand what they're thinking with Dreams. Like, it's just like a really boneheaded move, just all around a boneheaded move. So, but again, whatever, teach their own. You know, it is what it is. If you like Dreams, great, but I've tried it, I've played it, it's not for me. So, Spellbreak is a new battle royale combining roleplay and magical combat, and it's starting a closed beta. It's okay. Paper Beast is a VR sandbox game where you get to explore ecosystems, coming out in 2020. That actually sounds like something I might be interested in playing. The Predator game is coming out on April 24th. That actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty interested to play that. I think me and Daryl are probably going to get on that and play that. Because it got that Evolve-like feel. And he really likes Predator and Alien and like all that kind of 80s sci-fi horror stuff. So I think that'll be fun for him and I to get into because I really love Predator. We don't really talk cinema too much here because we focus on gaming. But Predator is really great. I really love that IP. And it deserves better inside of games. If I'm going to be honest, it has really good premises you could act on. So Babylon's Fall is an action game that mixes medieval and fantasy into a sci-fi setting. That's from Square and Platinum, so I'm sure that will be pretty good. Platinum, as we all know, is like hit or miss, so might be good, might be shit. It's Square Enix, so again, might be good, might be shit. Who knows? Superliminal, a perspective and physics-based puzzle game where you move through dreamlike scrapes, is coming to PS4 at an undisclosed date. And then they were just like, here's Ghost of Tsushima teaser trailer, and then the full trailer's at Game Awards, and okay. At this point, I just want to play it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. Cool. So regarding Resident Evil 3, apparently the former Platinum CEO formed that studio that's been working on that. So Tetsuya Minami has founded a new company backed by Capcom. So my understanding is that this company called 2M Inc. Is not a Capcom studio, but it is developing Resident Evil 3, and they've been working on it for a while now. So again, VGC says that it's been owned for over a year and compromised of several former Capcom and Platinum employees. The logo is visible at the end of the trailer. Minami has a long history with Capcom, blah, blah, blah. He worked on a lot of their older games. He left to form ODD, which got basically bought up by Platinum at some point. And then he was the president of Platinum until 2016. He also went to form this with another member of Capcom. And so he went to speak with Shinji Mikami, and that's where the 2M came from. He always had planned that like they would do this together. And it seems like basically he was like, I don't really want to go and kind of do this. I kind of want to stay where I'm at. He's currently at Tango, which, as we know, they just announced their new game at E3. Capcom's got a weird thing going on, or not Capcom, but that studio had a weird thing going because they showed what's her name? I can't remember her name, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. The creative director, I think, is what her title was on the new Tango game. She left and is working at Platinum now. Again, so that was kind of weird because they like introduced her to kind of like allow him to get out of the spotlight, and then she just like quit like pretty soon after that. So I don't know. Anyways, so M2 is one of several studios working on RE3. And so my understanding is that they're working on parts of this. Obviously, Project Resistance is being worked on by somebody else, and so on and so forth. I had the press release thing in here for this, but apparently I lost it somewhere. Anyways, 2K announced that a new Bioshock game was in development, but according to Kotaku and Jason Schreier, the game's actually been in development for a couple of years, and obviously it won't be out for a couple of years. So basically what he's saying is that Bioshock 4 existed for years, according to 4 people that he's spoken with. So the company that they just formed is called Cloud Chamber. but 2K had actually contracted somebody else to start it, I guess. Parkside was entering development at Certain Affinity, the Austin, Texas-based studio that's known for working on Halo and Call of Duty. There's also a big opportunity for Certain Affinity, which was founded in 2006 by Bungie developer, blah, blah, blah. 2K pulled the project onto Austin and decided to take it in-house, rebooting it in the process. 2K did not respond to comment, of course. It's not clear why their version was canceled. They're saying that they've heard different things. They moved it to California, where their corporate office is based. So I'm assuming this is so they can keep a close eye on it. 2K is really weird. Like, they obviously don't give a fuck when it comes to, like, NBA, because they just turn out the same bullshit every year and they make millions of dollars off of it. Versus, apparently, they really care about this because they want them within, like, arm's reach of being able to, like, hey, we're going to pop over and check how you're doing on BioShock. Like, because it's one of the only IPs they really own, like, as 2K that's, like, worthwhile talking about. Because, like, they don't really own anything else other than, like, Borderlands, as far as I'm aware, that's, like, modern. So, Take-Two owns a bunch of shit, but, like, 2K doesn't. 2K used to be super prolific, but not anymore. So, anyways, the short version is that this has been, according to Jason Schreier, this has been a thing that's been happening for a while now. So, they've been trying to get it together, but hasn't really been happening. So, this is probably the biggest one, outside of, obviously, the Xbox news. So, MLB The Show is a PlayStation, or was a PlayStation exclusive developed by Santa Monica Studios for PlayStation. They have since re-entered a deal with MLB to produce the game, and now it's going to be multi-platform. And this was retweeted by Xbox and Nintendo. So the show is coming to at least Xbox and Switch, and I'm going to assume PC as well, as early as 2021. So depending on if they can get those ported, I'm sure in easy fashion. I'm very interested to see how this works out, because Sony's really, really not okay with playing well with others. They've been consistently pushing back on us, telling them we want crossplay, we want to connect with others, we want to play with others outside of the PlayStation ecosystem. They're all playing with, each other. They're playing Fortnite, they're playing Minecraft, they're all playing games together. And this is, like, by the way, a weird thing that nobody really talks about with Minecraft. So ever since they updated to the Bedrock Edition, like, Minecraft on PS4 has basically been broken. You just can't invite your friends to the game anymore, so you just can't play with them. And I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's because they pretty much canceled that version of Minecraft. It doesn't really exist anymore. The Bedrock Edition is the one that everybody plays now. And on Xbox, I think you got a free upgrade to it. And then on Switch, they just released the Bedrock version instead of releasing the old version. Whereas on PlayStation, they couldn't upgrade to the Bedrock Edition because it was cross-play enabled automatically. There's no, like, opt-in or, like, on-off switch. So they had to have it. And PlayStation was just like, no, we're not having it. So they couldn't do the Bedrock Edition. So, again, this is, like, they don't play well with others. So I'm assuming this is MLB being like, yo, we want our game on other platforms, and, like, we want to make more money, basically. And PlayStation's not really in a position to say no, but MLB is also in a position where they're like, we could take this to somebody else. It might not be as good, but they could take it to somebody else and sell. Like, if they worked with 2K, for example, like, 2K turns out a fucking game every year. It's not as good as the show, but they turn one out every year. So I'm very interested to see how this works out, because Sony hasn't even really talked about it, like, at all, which is really frustrating to me, because everybody else is like, cool, we're really glad the game's coming to our platform. We're excited. Like, as you should be, But PlayStation's like, we don't have shit to say about this. Like, come on, man. Like, really? It just comes across as, like, super petty and aggressive from a branding standpoint, and that's really not the perception you want to go in when everybody has been like, you're petty and aggressive for no real reason, passive aggressive for no real reason. So it's been super frustrating this generation as a PlayStation fan to watch them, like, really understand and get it, and then just like have this huge ego and be like, no, we're too great for this shit now. Like, you're getting your asses kicked for like 6 years. So don't forget that, because we can make sure you get your asses kicked again. We'll just go buy Xboxes instead of PlayStations. So I just don't think that they are keeping that in mind, which is very frustrating. Anyways, this is what I was talking about with Minecraft and PlayStation. Minecraft players on the PlayStation 4 will begin to the update of the Bedrock edition of Minecraft, which allows crossplay between all platforms. So, in addition, PlayStation players will now have their purchased content and progress carry across platforms and have access to the ever-growing in-game store, which is skins, blah, 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 blah. This also means that you can get the Bedrock edition that has all these updates and upgrades, which is nice. As you can see here, the new update will install automatically and free of charge the next time they start Minecraft. The update, this free update will never expire, and all game purchases after today for PlayStation will always be for the Bedrock edition. So that's good, but again, like, PlayStation didn't even make a big deal out of this. Like, again, they just like ignore this shit. Like, it's super aggravating because, like, look, let's just fucking scroll through their Twitter. It's super annoying. Now, well, yeah, sure, I guess we'll log in. So, like, it's just super annoying because if you scroll through the... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't know why I did that. Because I was thinking of saying Twitter while I was typing. Anyways, no, I want the official account. Here. So, like, they just... I don't know, dude. They just don't talk about this sort of shit, and it's just, like, really just grinds my freaking gears. Because, like, I don't understand their hesitation to be like, yeah, we want to play well with others. Like, where's this direction coming from? Because, like, before they used to congratulate Xbox on stuff, on launches and stuff like that. But again, like, now they're getting petty again and just being like, no, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. So, like, let's see, the show was, this Minecraft thing was a week ago. So here's the thing with the show where they, like, retweeted it, but they didn't say anything. They just retweeted it and were like, we can't be bothered to fucking say anything else. Like, alright, dude. So, oh, there it is. See, look, this is the best they could do. Minecraft Bedrock Edition comes to PS4. Here are the details. The best they could do is this. This is the best they could do. Instead of being like, hey, everybody, guess what? Crossplay on Minecraft. It's here now so that everybody fucking can tell. Because nobody, like, unless you're nerds like us who, like, follow this shit, you don't fucking know what the Minecraft Bedrock is. You just know that Minecraft is Minecraft. So when you see this video, you kind of get an idea. But, like, bro, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck? So anyways, yeah, Microsoft, or not Microsoft, but Sony just continually pisses me off with their arrogance. Again, look, here's their obligatory, like, dumb bullshit of the generation. So this is a patent for how multiple people could play on, like, a game that's not really intended for 6 people. So one person could control the sticks while one person controls the triggers and the bumpers, and one person controls the, you know, the inputs. This is just really dumb. Like, no one's gonna want to do this. People can barely figure out how to play a game using their own hand with all the inputs, especially like a game like this, like a fighting game. Nah, dude, ain't gonna work. I promise you, it's not gonna work. It's not worth your while. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be bothered, honestly. Like, I just see this and I'm like, cool, this is something you spend a lot of time and money on that nobody's going to use. Just like the touchpad. Nobody uses it. It's a fucking giant waste of time and money. But whatever. Just like 6-axis. Giant waste of time and money. But you can't get rid of it because if you want to play PS3 games that require it, you need it. So, kind of fucked now. So, at least with Nintendo, they figured out how to make the stupid motion controls not suck in the Joy-Cons. They can't figure out how to make the sticks work. but they can figure out motion controls. So yeah, I got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. We got like 6 Xbox One X articles or Xbox One X Series articles. No, that's just called Xbox Series X. I don't know. This branding is dumb. The name is dumb. But at the end of the day, if it plays good games, who really gives a shit? So I don't know why this is formatted so badly, but the point is that they didn't announce any real specs. But Microsoft basically was like, okay, we're going to... Oh, so what the fuck is this? It literally says up top, we don't have the detailed specs yet, but CPU, GPU, and storage redefine Xbox's thing. And then they go down here, and they give you the CPU, the GPU, and the RAM. Okay, whatever, GameSpot. Anyways, so if it means anything to you, I don't know shit about technical specs when it comes to, like, parts. Like, I know a little bit, but I just can't be bothered to care. So... the CPU is an AMD Ryzen Zen 2. The GPU is an AMD Navi based, 12 teraflops. The RAM is GDDR6 SD RAM, though that's not confirmed, I guess. And then the storage is NVMe SSD. Again, not really confirmed. The max output is 8K, and the max refresh rate is 120 hertz. So I don't know anything about refresh rate, but I do know about output. So you can output 8K all you fucking want, but if the graphics or the assets aren't in 8K, that doesn't mean shit. So supposedly, from what I've been reading and what I've been told, is that it can actually output 8K assets. But I'm fucking hesitant to believe that because they haven't even gotten 8K assets to work on PC yet, as far as I'm aware. They're just now at a point where like 4K assets are working like pretty well on PC from my understanding. So like I'm not inclined to believe that you figured out how to run 8K and make this thing cost like $500. I'm not convinced, fam. Sorry. I would say the same, and I'm saying the same thing to PlayStation, because PlayStation supposedly the PS5 can supposedly put out 8K. Oh, okay. Sure. I'll believe it when I see it. So anyways, yeah, this thing got announced. The big contention is that some people think it looks like shit, and some people don't think it looks like shit. At the end of the day, it's a box. I agree with that sentiment. I just think it's fucking ugly. It's just ugly. But at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really matter. I just don't think it's something worthwhile to even look at. Like, it's just, ugh. It's a box. I mean, I get it. Their name is Xbox, but fuck me. Is that thing ugly? The Xbox One controller here looks a bit different. I kind of like it more than the Xbox One controller. I think the Xbox One controller is kind of bland. Like, the Elite controller is like leagues better than this. So I'm cool with this. It kind of needs a refresh. The D-pad looks okay. I'm glad there's a share button, a dedicated share button. Clearly, like, they have to fucking come up with a third button, because PlayStation just reassigned the select button to the touchpad. But I kind of like this. It looks a lot smoother and a lot cleaner. I like the share button. I think it's in a decent position. It's definitely going to get smashed way more than people intend to, but just welcome to playing on PlayStation 4, I guess, because that's what we did the entire generation. When the first like 6 months we owned it, everybody hit the share button instead of the fucking touchpad to go back. Now we use the touchpad, but before we just hit the fucking share button all the time. It was super annoying. So where is this? So we talked about this a bit last week. Supposedly Microsoft still wants to do Anaconda and Lockhart. I mean, it worked out well for them this generation. I think it worked out way better for them than it did for PlayStation, personally, because the X was purposely designed, whereas the PS4 Pro doesn't feel that way at all. PS4 Pro feels like somebody cobbled it to fucking together in like a half a second. At least mine does. Again, I can only speak from my experience, and my Pro sucks. Like, the OS is slow as fuck. It never runs right. I have games crash all the time. Like, my hard drive the external hard drive I use overheats like a motherfucker on it, which just didn't happen on my PS4. It doesn't happen on my Xbox One X, and it didn't happen on my Xbox One. So, like, the conclusion to me is that it just is the Pro, because I've had like 3 or 4 external hard drives and never had any problems until I got the Pro. So anyways, my point is that Microsoft seems to be a lot more deliberate in this sort of stuff, and they think ahead, I think, a lot more than a lot of people have when it comes to designing 2 SKUs, which leads me to believe that they're more thoughtful about this kind of stuff. They really like have a game plan when they're like, okay, we're going to do 2 consoles. There's a reason why we're going to do 2 consoles. One's going to be powerful, one's going to be affordable. And I think that's not a bad approach, but I am curious to see how that affects next gen, because the rumors are is that the lower end Lockhart will still be better than the X, but that it's going to be cheaper, but it's more like comparable in power to the S to X. So Anaconda is going to be super powerful, and Lockhart is going to be like okay in comparison. But it just seems like it's a weird thing to do at launch. Like, I feel like it would probably be better to launch Anaconda first and be like, this thing is fucking super powerful, and get all the hardcore people in first, and then be like, oh, everybody who's waiting on a price cut, here's Lockhart. It's cheaper. It's not as good, but it's cheaper, and it's next gen. So I don't know. I'm okay with that. It'll be interesting to see, because like, as far as we've heard, PlayStation doesn't have any plans to do 2 SKUs. I was also reading that Xbox has no plans to do a mid upgrade this time around with the X series or Series X, but I'm not really inclined to believe that, especially given how power is in computing specifically, and with phones and PCs is upgrading so exponentially every year that in 5 years this thing's going to be outdated as hell. Like, it'll still run games really well, but like, SSD has been a thing on PC for a long time. Like, I bought my SSD for my PC and it was relatively affordable. So, and it's pretty standard now if you have a PC to have SSD and a hard drive, or at least have, an SSD that's big enough to hold everything. So, again, I don't know how this is all going to work out for them. I'm very interested to see how this kind of goes for them. I really, really am looking forward to this next gen, because I think we've already hit the point where like we understand, they understand how to make games in this new format, how to utilize the old systems, and these sound like they're not a complete, like they're an upgrade, but it's not like completely redoing the process. And so I don't know. I think it's fine. Everything looks cool. I don't know if all this stuff is running an engine or not, but I'd rather just get my hands on it than speculate. I don't really like speculating about this kind of stuff, because speculation doesn't do anything. Me telling it to you and telling you about it doesn't really do anything. I'd rather just be like, okay, look, we sat down with it. Here's what we think about it. Here's what it looks like. Here's how it plays. Here's proof. You can see it in video, like how it works. And I'm just not really too worried about it until then. Like, I may get this at launch. I don't plan on it, if I'm going to be completely honest. They've given me no reason to buy one, given that I have an X and I have a PC. So unless there's an Xbox One game I really want that's not going to launch on PC, I don't really see a purpose or point. But again, whatever, teach their own. If you want to buy this, and I know tons of people that do. Daryl's fucking hyped about it. A bunch of people I know in Fanboys of Gaming are hyped about it. So if that's your thing, great. Cool for you, dogs. Glad you're excited about something. I still am waiting on PS5 and hoping to God that PlayStation doesn't fuck it up. But I don't need a new Xbox. I'm perfectly happy with my Xbox One X. I like my Xbox One X a lot. I don't want to trade mine in because I got it as the Project Scorpio edition. So why would I want to trade it in? So I'm content with mine, and I see no reason to upgrade. And I don't feel like I even got the most out of it that I could yet. Like, I've played on my Xbox a lot, and I just don't feel like I've gotten my full worth out of it yet. So why would I upgrade already? again, this is just my opinion and just like what I'm gonna do, because we don't get sent units. Like, if we got sent units and Microsoft was like, here's a fucking Xbox Series X, I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, we're not gonna turn this shit down. But we're not. We gotta go out and spend money on this. And between the people I know that are gonna buy it, you know, that's that's thousands of dollars. If this thing launches at 500, there's 8 of us, and almost all of us own an Xbox. I think Jason and Adam are the only 2 that I don't think own Xboxes. Chris owns one, I own one, Daryl owns one, Billy owns one, Kevin owns one. So like most of them are primarily Xbox players, which is fine, whatever. But like, again, if you're hyped for this, cool. I'm excited for you. I'm glad that you have something to look forward to. I just don't. I'm not like too into it. I'm more interested in this shit. Like, this is what I want to know. Like, you can suspend and resume multiple games at once. I don't really know why I would need that. It's really, really cool. It's a great idea, because I love suspend and resume. It's probably the best feature that's come out of this generation, because I forgot that for a time, like, you couldn't do that. Like, you had to save the game before you turned off your console, and we just don't have to do that anymore, which is great. But it doesn't really work with multiplayer games. Like, if you're playing Destiny on Xbox Series X, there's no point in suspended resume, because you have to turn it back on. It has to load back up, and you have to log back in and queue and all that. So like, and that's what publishers want, is all these like multiple online only games. So what's the point of suspending and resuming a game if it's only online? Like, if you have to connect online anyways, it's like you're booting the game up after you're closing it. So it kind of defeats the whole purpose. So this is great for people like me who play a lot of fucking single player offline games. But like, if you're the normal person and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to play some Madden with my friends, and then I'm going to play some 2K with my friends. We're going to go play some Call of Duty. Like, it's great, but at the same point, like, you're not going to save yourself that much time if these are as powerful as they say they are, bouncing in between them like that, because you're still going to have to sign in. So at the end of the day, it ain't that much different. And like I said, I have an X, and the X loads things incredibly fast. Like, I find it absurd how quickly it loads things most of the time. So I can't imagine how powerful and fast these things are. But again, what's the point if you have to sign in? So I'll be interested to see that. I know a lot of people who play single player games, and not only online games. So I'd be interested to hear their opinion about this and what they have to say once they get their hands on it. The last thing is Windows Central put out this great article that Daryl tagged me in and sent. And it's the last thing I really like kind of want to talk about. And so Windows Central obviously focuses mostly on Xbox and Windows, everything Microsoft related. So this is a list of everything that's currently going on, rumors, and things that they've heard, or things that they want to talk about that they've heard. Obviously, they know more than we do, and they probably know some stuff that we don't know yet. So some of this stuff is super vague. We know 343 is working on Halo Infinite. We don't really know any more than that. We know it's coming out next holiday on PC and Xbox. I believe it's coming out on Xbox One as well as Xbox Scarlet, whatever iterations those are. Again, a big reason why I don't feel any reason to go buy a Series X. If I can play Halo Infinite on my X, then why? I don't see a purpose in upgrading, if I'm going to be honest. Again, teach their own. Compulsion is working on DLC, or they recently completed DLC for the season pass of We Happy Few, so they're supposedly moving on to other things. Double Fine has a bunch of projects they were currently working on, Psychonauts 2, Rad, and other projects, secret projects. Cool. So, again, secret projects, don't care. What I was really hoping for from this article was like a little bit of nuggets here and there of like things that we may not have heard of. But everything in here is basically just a collection of everything we've heard of. So, In Exile recently did Wasteland 2, is known for Wasteland 2, but also blah, blah, blah. Classic RPGs, they're working on Wasteland 3. That's pretty much it. The studio is also working on bringing Sparta Tales 4 to console as well as an unannounced project. So, whatever. Minecraft Dungeons, we know about that. We know Mojang is working on that. They're also working on Minecraft Earth, which is the mobile game. And so, meh. They got some stuff going on. Ninja Theory, we know, is working on Hellblade 2 now. And also on Bleeding Edge. Much more excited for Hellblade 2. We actually did a discussion on best games of the year and best games of the decade recently. So for patrons, it's available right now. Best game of the year is going to come out later this week, Wednesday. So, but best games of the decade doesn't come out for free for everybody until January. So if you want to get on that, it's over at the Patreon. The link's in the description. But Daryl has very, very good things to say about Hellblade and why it's one of the best games of the decade, and I really think it would behoove you to check it out. Obsidian sounds like they're working on DLC for Outer Worlds. They recently tweeted that they had plans to kind of do that. They're also working on whatever the hell this thing is, Grounded, the mini, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids survival game. I'm kind of interested in it. It looks kind of cool. If it comes out on Game Pass, then I'll play it. But I'm not going to sink tons of time into it, probably. Let's see. Under contract with Take-Two. Yeah, we know about that. They're probably I think they said they're working on one other thing besides Grounded and Outer Worlds DLC. But they might have been talking about Outer Worlds DLC. So, who knows? Because that was before they, like, talked about it. So, Playground Games supposedly is working to put out a new Horizon, which I'm sure Daryl will be quite excited about. He loves Forza Horizon. There's also been rumors that they've split into two teams, one working on Horizon and one working on an RPG. Many, including myself, hoping it's Fable. Dear Lord God, we need a Fable. Xbox needs something like that so bad. Like, that would be game changing for them because they just don't have anything, I think, like that's that strong in their first party lineup. So, and it to be on Game Pass would be fucking massive. I would die for that. As we know, Rare's working on Sea of Thieves. They also did Killer Instinct, and they're doing whatever the fuck this thing is, Everwild. Again, it looks cool. I don't know anything about it. The trailer told me nothing. Like, it looks cool, whatever. But just, like, drop it when you're ready, I guess. And I'll pick it up on Game Pass. So, again, not super hyped, but it is what it is. So, I'll be interested to hear more about the gameplay of that. The Coalition, as we know, is working on Gears. Probably more Gears 5. They're also doing that weird tactics game, and they had that weird contract with Pop. I don't know if that was a whole separate thing. I think that game's already out, though. So, yeah, I mean, it's Gears. Whatever. Gears 5 is fine. I think, honestly, Gears 5 is probably the best Gears of War game overall as a package. I don't think it's my favorite Gears of War game. I think Gears of War 3 is still my favorite, but I do agree that it's probably the best packaged out there. The Initiative we've heard nothing from. We have no idea what the hell they're doing. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say they're doing an Xbox Series X game that will probably be announced either at E3 this year or next year. I think at this point Microsoft should probably just hold their cards close to their chest and just announce things once they're closer to being released, because at this point they're just dragging shit out. And I don't really see a point to that. But again, whatever, teach their own. So yeah, as it says here, all signs point that they're building a AAA game to match PlayStation quality. As we know, they got a bunch of talent from people at Sony Santa Monica and also some people from Red Dead 2. So they have very, very talented people on their teams. And I'm really excited to see how that game turns out and what it is. If it's a big single-player game, again, I get that Microsoft tried to stick with what worked for them in 360 era, but this isn't the 360 era anymore, and your third party's got multiplayer pretty much locked down. Not that you can't have your own. Like, Halo and Gears are still gonna be super popular, but I think they need to be better, personally. Turn 10 is, they pretty much only do Forza, I believe, Forza Motorsport. Let's see, for now, it looks as though the studio might be taking a break, and not skipping the release of 2019, and instead the studio is working on further updates for Forza 7. My guess is that the reason they took that break is to probably release Forza 8 on Xbox Series X. I can't see any reason for them to skip out otherwise, especially given that most of the time these games like that are like, okay, we're going to work on the engine, we're going to upgrade it a bit, we're going to try out some new things, maybe implement some new stuff, but for the most part it's just going to be visual and physics upgrades, stuff like that. So I don't know, we'll see. Undead Labs did State of Decay. Let's see, blah blah blah. State of Decay 2 recently was released, within the last couple of years. State of Decay 3 is probably on the table, they're saying, because this was they released State of Decay 2 before they got bought out, I think. They're also looking to expand, so obviously they got that Microsoft money now. I think Microsoft is buying up these really talented studios that have a core good talent, and really once they get that funding and that talent, can really bring their games to a polished and really, big level. I think that'll be worth their while. This is whatever Age of Empires developer. Let's see. World's Edge is Microsoft's newest studio. They're making Age of Empires. The team's currently working on Definitive Edition, Age of Empire 1 and 2. And while completing 2 and possibly Age of Mythology, they're working with Relic to make Age of Empire 4. That's a lot of fucking games that they're working on at once. I know that like most of that's like remastering, but still, it's a lot of work. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, obviously that's a third-party studio. They're still working on that Battletoads title with Rare. Moon Studios is Ori. Let's see. Yeah, this is that Gears Pop game I was talking about. This is Gears Tactics. They're working on Studio MDHR's working on Cuphead DLC, which for fuck's sake, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be great. Cuphead is probably like one of the best platformers put out recently, like within the last like handful of years. I like Celeste a lot more than Cuphead, and I know that's probably gonna like be a little controversial, but I just think that Celeste resonates better with me than Cuphead. But I love Cuphead's visual style. It's fucking awesome. It's so beautiful. And then Asobo is working with Redmond to work on Flight Simulator. So I'd be very interested in Flight Simulator if it had like a VR mode, but because it doesn't, I don't particularly care. Again, I don't know. This is a big reason why I'm not a big Xbox guy, is just a lot of their stuff doesn't resonate with me in a way that PlayStation's IPs have ever since I was a kid. And I've owned every Xbox system. Like I've owned an Xbox One, I've owned an Xbox 360, and I've owned an Xbox. And consistently, their titles have just not resonated with me. And I've played a lot of them. I haven't played Halo 1, and I haven't played Halo 2 in a very long time. But I've played Halo 3, I've played Halo 4, I played Reach, I played ODST, I played 5, I played Gears 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, I've played a lot of their, like, big staple games. I've played Forza. I haven't played Horizon, but I've played Forza. And just a lot of these games just don't speak with me. So that's ultimately why I don't play as much on my Xbox or buy exclusives and stuff on my Xbox. But with Game Pass, now I don't have to, which is great, because I've tried a lot more of Xbox exclusives. And again, I can confirm that they're just not for me. Whereas if PlayStation had something like that, I would be saving a lot of money every year. Because I do buy a bunch of their titles. I just got Days Gone because it was super cheap. Because I was hesitant on it. And by the time I could afford it, I just was like, it's too late. There's no point. We don't need coverage, and you guys don't really care. And so the big name people have got Days Gone covered, so we skipped out on it. But like, I bought fucking Dreams, for fuck's sake, like, because I thought maybe there could be something interesting in there, and it's not good. So, but anyways, that's enough. That's all of the news for this week. I don't know how long. Oh, this went an hour and a half, so it went pretty long. It's longer than I anticipated, if I'm to be honest. I had a parched throat about 10 minutes into this fucking stream, and I didn't bring any water because I am a fool. So I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate all of you hanging out and going through the news with me. It was a lot of fun. Please leave comments here or on Patreon about what you thought about the live stream. We've thought about doing live streams as like a more regular thing, but we were always concerned about the quality of our internet and whether or not it was possible given the power of what we had. Clearly, we've seen it works well by myself. I would love to do it with my co-hosts and maybe try something different. So let us know what you think. Give us a breakdown, and we're going to work on some things for 2020 that may be interesting. I think I'm going to do a couple of streams here and there for 2020. I was going to do one on New Year's Eve, but that seems unlikely as we're probably hosting a party here. So maybe a New Year's Day stream if I'm not too hungover. But again, thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate it. I am Ambassador Michael, one in the army of ambassadors. I don't know why Chris came up with that. Ambassadors aren't an army. They're peaceful people. It's the whole reason we picked ambassadors of gaming. But who am I to argue? Anyways, until next time, friends, thank you very much for your time. Bye.